You know, many NFL athletes have sat to my left and they've said to me that Brock Purdy is not going to be the starting quarterback as Trey Lance is. Wrong. Wow, what a departure, huh? And I give John Lynch credit. You know, we talk a lot about sports where, you know, one of the beauties of it is that you can either play or you can't play. And when you have the kind of run, what was it, 7 straight wins or 8-1, I think, right? Yeah. Including the playoffs for Brock Purdy, he proved he can play. He proved he's an NFL quarterback, period, stop. Now, he's recovering, of course, from what amounts to Tommy John surgery, right, Cody?
Yes.
Albeit not the full-on cadaver tendon ligament.
More of a 6-month recovery process.
Right.
Yes.
So he's going to be back, and assuming he builds up that arm strength, he'll be fine. Trey Lance is going to be ahead of him physically and more prepared to play this summer than Brock Purdy. But I think that's great because it's a merit-based world we live in, right? And based on performance, no disrespect to Trey Lance, he just didn't play. So why would you anoint him the starter day one? He may earn the job, but there's a guy that was your quarterback that led you to an NFC championship game, and why don't we respect that? Good job by Lynch.
It was a great job, and I love that he said that, like, because he didn't say Brock Purdy's our starter. He said he's the leader in the clubhouse, meaning like he has the upper hand right now. And it's not just about what you did, what we were able to see from a physical standpoint, but it's the intangibles. Like, he led this team. He showed so much poise. Like, you got to think about it. Him coming in and taking over for Jimmy Garoppolo, playing better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and throwing the football, getting guys more involved, allowing them to – their offense looked like it was expanded when he got in.
Just look at those numbers right there. 33 points a game is the best offense in football. It's better than the Chiefs.
And we're talking about a guy that was never supposed to play.
Correct.
Like that in itself speaks to his preparation. So all of that matters when you're starting to make decisions like this. If you're John Lynch and you're Kyle Shanahan, like, this guy was ready. He stayed ready, and he never was supposed to ever put that helmet on.
Not
and
just
be on
that.
the center.
You know, they also signed Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
So you've got, of the 3 quarterbacks you have in your roster, you've got 2 guys who were the 3rd overall pick in an NFL draft and a guy that was the last pick in an NFL draft who you brought up from your practice squad because, you know, Trey Lance got hurt and you were concerned that some team might come poach, which you're allowed to do in the NFL. The guy's on the practice squad, he's free game. And all of a sudden now he's your best quarterback. It just shows you that, you know, the San Francisco 49ers are a competent, respectful organization of performance, right? There's a lot of teams out there that would just say, nah, Trey Lance is the guy. We drafted him 3rd overall.
Exactly.
We gave up a bunch of first-round draft picks. No. Now, Trey Lance is going to have an opportunity to win the job, to earn the job. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But let's be respectful of the guy that got us to the NFC Championship game. And as you said, our offense got better the longer he played. Like, if you put that stat up there again, those numbers are Hall of Fame numbers. If you can, be consistent with them. 33 points a game, 300 some odd yards a game, damn near 400 yards a game, 11-2 touchdowns to interceptions, and a stupid passer rating. Like, there are Hall of Famers that never had years like that. And Brock Purdy did in his first opportunity to play.
I mean, he would have led them to the Super Bowl if he didn't get hurt in the first quarter.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind they beat the Eagles that day, and it burns me to my soul that he didn't get to play in that game. And the San Francisco 49ers were without a quarterback. Speaking of Philly and quarterbacks, Howie Roseman is the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, he is.
And look, I mean, he knows what he's doing, right?
Yes,
he's not
he
the
does.
Sixers. Here you go, talking about Jalen Hurts. Our whole kind of roster building is going to turn a little bit here from a QB on a rookie deal towards hopefully a quarterback on a long-term deal. This just comes down to what it always comes down to. Dead presidents. That's all it is. And he is essentially going to set the market for Joe Burrow, for Justin Herbert, and guys like that. The only difference, of course, is that Cincinnati and the Chargers have the right to pick up a 5th-year option on their guys. Philly can't because he wasn't a first-round draft pick. He played like one. It doesn't matter. Now, the Dolphins have already picked up Tua's 5th-year option, which, by the way, just without getting the weeds on it, you actually do before a player's 4th year. That's when you have to make that commitment, which is why the Giants didn't do that with Daniel Jones. He was a bad quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. But Jalen Hurts is now going to set the table for Burrow and Herbert, meaning he's going to get a lot of money.
He is going to set the table, and unfortunately, he's going to set the table because if you are one of those quarterbacks that we just saw,
getting more,
you don't want to be the first one to sign.
That's
because
right.
the other ones are going to set the mark based off what you do. So,
listen, I mean,
I don't think Jalen Hurts. I don't think that really bothers Jalen Hurts because he's one of those guys that he's going to work regardless. He's earned this position. He's going to always continue to have his head down. You hear his teammates, specifically Jason Kelce, talk about just his approach, how nothing bothers him. He's going to go in that building with the same mindset every single day, regardless of what you put in his hand and put in his bank account. I love Jalen Hurts. He's earned it. He deserves it.
I'll say this, it's a really weird situation because he's not a first-round draft pick, and you don't have the luxury of picking up an extra year of his contract 2 years in advance. The Eagles are in a weird spot, and I would just put this out there, right? They're not going to be as good as they were last year. Mm-hmm. They're just not. They're not going to be as good defensively. They lost Miles Sanders on offense. Now, Lane Johnson re-signed. He's going to be there. Kelsey's going to be there again. But their schedule's going to be a lot harder. Like, they're not going 16-1, right? So, from an Eagles standpoint, they are in an interesting position. You have to give him the bag. He's going to get $140 or $50 million guaranteed, and good for him. But there's a big part of me that I would say, let's just wait a little bit. Let's just play a little bit. He had one good year.
Very good
and
year.
And it was a great year. It was damn near an MVP year.
Yes.
But we're now going to guarantee him. And he's a great kid. And he's hardworking. And he's very consistent. And he's not a showboat. And all those good things that you want out of a franchise quarterback. But you can always franchise him if you want him.
You could.
And I know that sucks to say because we see what's happening with Lamar Jackson. Sure. So I get it. Philadelphia has to pay Jalen Hurts. But let's not lie. There's a part of me and you and you and you and you and you and you that would say, let's make him do it again before we give him that kind of dough.
No.
Oh.
No. It's not.
But you just said that you and you and you.
No,
you
just said
that. Oh, I said it. My bad.
Because every year he's improved. Every year he's gotten better. Every offseason he comes back a different style and a much more improved player. So that lets me, and I know his character. I know he's not going to change or detour. Pay this guy right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you're going to get it for less, you mean, now if you sign him?
Yes, you get him for less now. Think about it. The moment he signs, Joe Burrow's going to go on top of him. Justin Herbert is. Tua.
Eventually,
if he continues.
Right.
Like, these guys are going to continue to move that number up. You don't want to be on the back end of that and saying, well, let's do it again, because then you're on the back end of
Listen, it makes sense. I'm not arguing with you. It's just like, I had one good year. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, that's all I'm saying. If I'm Lamar Jackson and I'm sitting there going, dude had a good year. I was an MVP. He's getting $150, and I'm not. I think this is going to burn an even deeper wedge between Lamar Jackson and Baltimore.
And that's my question. Does this signing, whatever he signs for, what does that actually do to Lamar's market going forward?
Nothing because I think Lamar's like a unicorn in regards to the alleged collusion happening right now in the NFL amongst teams not willing to give him guaranteed money for whatever the reason might be. I just don't think you can compare anybody to Lamar because every other franchise quarterback has gotten a deal done. Mm-hmm. He's the only guy that does not have a deal done who's worth getting a deal done.
And we don't see this at the quarterback position.
And by the way, they're only like $50 million apart over 5 or 6 years.
Is that all?
That's like chump change to a billionaire.
To a billionaire, yeah, but they don't
Don't
like
forget,
to spend
every
it.
NFL owner gets every penny of cost involved with running an NFL team back in the television deals before they sell a single ticket. They can write the check. They just don't want to write the check in Baltimore. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.